All right, hello, welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. We're back tonight playing more Legendinthemist, and we had a very action-packed last session, and maybe this session it'll just be a nice casual walk through an ancient forest haunted by some weird elder beings, and then up a mountain to a ruin of some old civilization. I'm sure it'll be fine. But yeah, and we're nearing the end, I think, of our, like I was just saying this before we went live, I think we're nearing the end of this, of our little arc here. Might be a season ender, and then we'll come back to it later. But we'll see how we go. Last time around, you all had finally met with Poe. You had been apart for a few days, but you finally caught up with him. But who else caught up with you was that blessed singer, that giant crystal golem that has been skirting the edges of the campaign for several episodes now. Finally caught up with you at the ancient henge that you all know so well, and a fight went down. Throughout that fight, things kind of went this way, that way. And at one point, it brandished this massive crystal sword, and that's where things just got really dire. It gets slashed kick at one point across the back. Morgan, you got tossed completely off the hill into another zone, basically. And then it was also using its various like light magic and such to just brighten and illuminate and also dazzle and all that kind of stuff. Snaggletooth, you called upon your, I don't know, are we saying metaphorical or literal demon within to kind of draw the singer's attention? And then I said Patrick here, but that's Call of Cthulhu. Lloyd, yeah. Lloyd used some of the tips from the elves to kind of beseech that henge golem for some help, and it stumbled into the party, and just you guys were able to bash down the singer. It exploded into like 1,000 small pieces, and then after the fight, you all got the hell out of Dodge because it made a big, giant, bright light that probably could be seen from quite some ways away. You fled. You headed northwest towards the mountains. You camped a little bit north of a town called Aberlin. And in the morning, you kind of patched yourselves up and such. Poe was with you. And his plan, if you guys decide to go with him, was to kind of push through this old forest, to climb up the mountains. And then up there somewhere is this old ruin of the Toranok, this ancient civilization from thousands of years ago, on which your homeland has been built. So there's apparently a place called Stoneham Hold that has apparently got some kind of magical artifacts, devices, something or other that you might be able to use to protect Isfig, Tor Hollow, and the various other places in this valley from whatever calamity is about to befall them. So that's the last time around. We'll pick up. It's morning time. You all are here. It's I'll say it's no longer raining. We'll say it is just a kind of a nice morning. You look around. Looks as though no one has interrupted your sleep. Poe has already kind of packed things up. At one point, you all had looked up the ridge last night when it was dark, and you saw kind of a faint light somewhere up there and marked it with your eye line. But that's where we're at. Is anyone looking to do anything, or are we pushing through, or are we pushing through? What do you think?
How far are we from that town? I know we said we like bypassed it.
You bypassed it. You guys intentionally tried to avoid it. So I would say you're probably like, you wanted to not just avoid it, but probably avoid some of its homesteads, similar to how like around Isfig there are various farms like Snaggletooth. So you probably veered I don't know, maybe a couple hours north of it, maybe an hour or two away.
Yeah, I think we wanted to give them plausible deniability in case anybody came asking for us. That they didn't see us. They didn't see us. I think, if I'm remembering correctly, there was a little bit of a conversation about, like Poe also kind of agreed that there was some kind of a ritual that may need to be done. So I think as we're walking, might strike up a conversation with Poe about that. Oi. Now that we're on the road, when we were back talking with the rest of them, they were sure thinking that there was some ritual that was going to have to be done to Kick and myself, and just it sounded a bit like if we happen to die from going through the ritual, then, oh, well, that'd be that. But do you have a different version of the ritual that you think you may be able to do with us to get whatever this thing is in us out safely?
Nothing inside of a Snaggletooth, you mean? It's not in the rest of you. It's just you all are primed vessels for it, is all. Snaggletooth seems to...
Got it a bit worse. It seemed, they said they had to do Kick, and that was part of the whole thing, is that Kick left, but they felt that Kick had to be brought back because it was still, because we'd been touched by the thing, that we could maybe, get connected to it and whatnot. But I certainly don't want all of us to go through all of this just to die at the end.
Yeah, what are you asking me, Morgan? Exactly. It's,
You're not agreeing with them that there's a thing that must be done to my friend over there that could kill him?
Oh no, I agree. Yes, it's quite terrible. There's something inside of him. It's demonic. It's malefic. It's something evil.
But you can get it out without killing my friend. Yes.
My skills are limited, you might say. I could assist, but I was never one who took to the arts particularly adeptly. Orin, I'm sure he could do it, but we might have burnt that bridge when we destroyed the singer.
I'm good. I was hoping for a different answer to that. I don't. That's me, buddy. We're up to all of our troubles together, him and me.
We look back and we see a hairless Beaverkin who's just sort of like walking several steps behind.
He's my friend too. Yeah, but bigger fish to fry right now. Yeah.
And Morgan just gets sort of a dark look on her face, and so she'll keep pace with everyone, but just sort of go off by herself a little bit as we're moving along.
Are you okay this morning, Kick? Took quite a hit.
And she'll look down at the now cauterized wound. It seems to be a bit better, though. I do have a strong sense that some of my ribs are a bit floating around in there, but yeah, that hurt. I think this might be permanent too. And she'll kind of lean down to Lloyd. Now, did you happen to know or see Auntie Eldrin on your trip? Because I was looking for her, thinking that maybe she might be able to do something about these, but...
Eldrin, I haven't seen her since we first met her.
The elves said she'd done something and gone to other locations. So, elf stuff.
We're heading into the mountains now,
magic stuff.
Is your home near here?
Oh, it's actually, and she'll point at a different... Because I believe we're going more west, and the Highlanders are southeast from us.
Yeah, like...
She'll point at the wrong mountain. I think at this point that's fair. But it's not. It's the one way over there, I think.
It's a shame. I would love to see it. But Poe...
Hey, when we're done with this, I'll take you to them. I think you'd have a grand time exploring and learning their culture. They'll definitely at least dress you up and show you some of the ceremonies, but you might get rough and tumbled a bit here and there. They might expect you to lift a log and throw it. It's a sport.
I'll leave that to you for now. Let's try to get this mountain.
Well, I shouldn't be too bad then.
Okay. You guys do have to go through this very old, dark forest that has a reputation I don't know that if any of you have specifically explored it, but you can tell me otherwise if you think so. But this is it's like this little like old forest in the sort of northwest of this valley that you all live in. The closest town to it is that Aberlin town, and no one really goes up there. There's no real reason to, but if what your hunch is true, and you believe that that kind of glowing light up on the ridge high above in the mountains is to be what you think it is, then it means the shortest distance between two places is to kind of cut through this old forest where these beings that no one really knows what they are. They have all this kind of like this stories upon stories told about them, and people who go into the forest don't come out. If they do, they come out changed, and like weird sounds and beings and strange creatures and monsters. So those are the types of tales like that you would probably have heard of this place. The other option would be to veer southward a bit and try to take the old path up to where the trading post used to be on the other side, and that's where Poe had described the like how he and your parents apparently did something to kind of collapse that pathway so that it would prevent anyone from kind of coming and visiting. So he gave him time to do his thing. It would take longer to do that. And it also would mean you're kind of traveling along the ridge of the mountain a little bit more. So, but those are options that you have at your disposal. Certainly the quickest way is through that forest if you want to go through it. But it's up to you guys. So do you have a choice?
I think all forests are evil. This one is equally as bad as all the rest of them.
Well, then it can't be any worse either. We should just be fast about it.
Honestly, I think these look like trees that I've seen before with Jack. I'm pretty sure that was my initial backstory, that Jack and I would go off into the woods because I kept getting lost in them.
Sure. Yeah,
and those trees could be that tree, but the other trees also could be the wrong trees because they all look the same to me.
So, Lloyd, are you looking to follow in your parents' path and kind of trace their final steps, or are you looking to avoid doing that?
It did cross my mind. I'd love to see what they saw. And it's a known path. It seems pretty safe.
Makes it a little more likely that folk could spot us, like other folks could be there. So there's that. But it has been a big part of, you said your uncle's been telling you about some of the stuff. It might be interesting for you to see it for yourself.
That's true. So what about you guys? Do you want to come down to the trading post or near it?
Well,
I worry about time, but I'm happy to take you there. I'm thinking maybe we flip a coin for it and do an evens and odds thing.
yeah, that's fair. I'd say time is of the essence, but you know what, pal? That's your kin, that's your parents, and you want to go find the end of that story. I definitely support you in it.
All right then. Lloyd, let's go find your parents' skeletons? That doesn't seem right.
Why'd you have to put it like that?
I might be a bit tired as a player right now, so some weird things might be coming out here and there.
Yeah, I agree. Snaggle time might be of the essence, and I am concerned about that, but not going to be out this way too very often, and feels too good to pass up.
Hey, it might just be the end of the world, so that does seem like the time to make those final reconciliations and all.
All right,
Paul,
then.
I think we've landed on a choice.
What? Yeah, okay.
And he's like, this whole time he's been like just looking up and kind of like flipping through an old tome and not really even paying attention to your conversation.
Yes, lead the way. Yes.
So yeah, if you look at our little personal map here, that means you're kind of heading, instead of like heading, sort of directly through this old forest, you're just kind of following like kind of the westward path, like up to where that little route blockage is. Someone give me a little roll here to kind of navigate through the old path, navigate through the old trails. You do get to get a +1 from this because there are in fact these old trails. They haven't been used for a little while, for a couple of years, but they do exist, and so there are some route markers that can kind of take you probably halfway up into the mountain before any real attempts or needs at actual climbing would have to come into play. So it's really just about finding them if somebody wants to lead that charge.
I could lead the way.
Now you want me to navigate again?
No, I don't think anyone's saying that.
You've done so much of it already. We don't want to exhaust you none.
That's it. Clearly, that's it.
Mm-hmm. Aye, Lloyd, go on then.
Okay, I'll put... How about point out peculiarities? Or a new one I got, passion for the truth.
Hey, okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, because you're driven by maybe this is the path that your parents took. Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice.
All right, I'll throw those two with the +1.
Okay.
That looks good. A 12.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. Yeah.
Heck
12
yeah.
strong hit. That's great. Okay. Yeah. Lloyd, whatever it might be, whether it's like this desire, like the mention of your parents, maybe you're coming into your own finally, whatever it could be. Yeah. It's not too hard through this, it's not like a heavy forest the way that deep dark forest to the north is that you guys are bypassing. It's just more scattered trees and copses and stuff like that. But you do find these old markers. Maybe you find like a marker that's been like kind of tipped over onto the ground in the grass, and then maybe you find one or two markers that have been that are a little bit weather beaten up the slopes a bit. But it doesn't take long for you to actually track down the path itself. And you guys spend probably the better part of 2 hours just weaving up these switchbacks that kind of get you further and further and further and further up until you finally come to the end of the trail. And by the end of the trail, it's not like the natural end, but you do see, as you've been weaving up, there's like you're weaving through this very narrow crevice for quite some time. And then finally, it looks as though the crevice has just pinched on itself and collapsed. And you see in front of you huge chunks of stone from the canyon walls themselves just fallen down. Now the mountains continue to go up a significant amount. Like you could certainly climb over top of it, and you can see that the ridge kind of extends northward in this sort of jagged look to it. But there's no longer any like pre-laid like path to it. Looking around, you can certainly see like the signs of like old like ruin left for the birds kind of equipment. Like there's like a broken cart here. There's some what looks like a mining pick or some like shovels and such that have like kind of rusted away, like as if someone was here, or maybe they tried to get out, or maybe something else happened. But you certainly see like these things. But the path itself moving forward now. This would take you westward and further westward and like into the wider world. But you know that somewhere between here and then like up the ridge to the north is where you're kind of looking for. Lloyd, since you rolled a 12, right? And you've done so well. As you get to this like small, like narrowed blockage in this path, and you see like all this debris, you catch sight of something. You see like a sack in the ground, like kind of caught up in some dirt. And as you pull it free from where it's kind of covered up with various small pebbles and rocks and things like that, you notice like this faded, maybe like insignia or a stitching or something like that, an emblem, whatever it might be, that like Harlock and your dad and your family maybe use from time to time, like their Candlemaker's mark. And you see it very faintly, like stitched into this big canvas sack that's hidden. And it occurs to you that this was likely one of your parents' belongings, like one of the sacks that they had carried to collect the various ingredients that they might need for their candle making tools.
There's something in the rubble here. Candlemaker's mark. My family
Oh,
really
it's
has
your
been out
uncle's.
here. It is. He might like this back.
I don't know about that. Your uncle doesn't travel or leave this village.
Right,
Maybe
it must
he's
be
a
my father's.
sneaky old coot.
He is sneaky, but he's not one. Have you seen his belly? He's not one for travel. That
Well,
Or
what's in
No.
it?
I'm not sure. Let's
Delicious.
find out. Is there anything in it? It was just kind of rubbish.
You open it up and you notice that in it are all of these. It's not like super heavily filled yet, but it's maybe a third filled with these crude looking amber rocks. And you've seen these other places before, and in greater quantity over the past year or so. But up until very recently, it was a lot harder to find these types of things, right? And they would show up during like various festivals, like the first fall festival and such. But more and more, especially down like by Tor Hollow, where they found like all these huge veins of it inside the mines. But you can see that apparently your parents were collecting some of this, and so they have the sack is maybe about a third filled with rocks between the size of like a small pebble and like a fist that look like this amber rock.
The amber's here too. We must be getting close to stone him.
All right then.
aye.
Good to have. Good to have. We'll keep it on us.
You got a keen eye there, young man.
Aye, all right. Now we have to get over the steep path here. So should we keep moving? We're still going vertical at this point now. Then.
Yeah, so when you look around, you guys have been traveling through this weaving switchback and then into like a canyon or crevice road, and the canyon kind of collapsed. And so you have these different peaks to the north and south of you. Again, heading west goes into the wide world. It's not necessarily where you would want to go, but that is where the blockage has been kind of created with the canyon walls collapsed. Again, if your guesses are correct, you want to head northward, which means going off-road and starting to do like a more treacherous climb on some of these mountain ridges, going up and going northward. That seems to be your destination.
Aye, well, time to turn north, I'm afraid. Lloyd, hopefully we're not going to miss something that your parents left behind, but I think this might have been the big one.
Right, we can scramble north from here. Don't want to get trapped in this rubble.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure.
Okay. So you all like look around for a bit. You find like some kind of path that you might be able to take. And it's again, there's nothing that's natural, but as you look around, you can spy these like little goat paths and such. You can, spy what looks like a ledge that sticks out here or there. And you start to kind of weave yourself in this almost like tortuously like upwards like trek. And so you're kind of going northward, weaving up, one direction at a time. Sometimes you're having to like backtrack because like the switchback you're on just suddenly stops, and you find yourselves like almost falling off a ledge. Like you can see, the rocks and such underneath your feet are trickling down, and as you look out towards the valley, you can see like the whole forest below you. You can see the dark trees of the forest to the north. You can see in the far distance, you can see Aberlin beginning to kind of come to activity. You can see smokes in the chimney and such. And so you find yourselves continuing to like one bit at a time, just trying to slowly move over these very treacherous turns, these very tight ledges, these steep, large boulders. And every now and then you start to feel, the higher you go, you just feel a dum, dum, as if like the very earth itself is kind of like shaking from time to time. And all of these like rocks, the size of like grapefruits, begin to just sort of tumble down and sort of hack away at you here and there. And it starts to get louder, and then the rhythms seem the pattern is like perfect It's like boom, 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 boom. It's not random. It's this perfect intermittent pattern. And all these rocks are starting to tumble down to the point where, like, let's say, I think Lloyd, we said, was out front. Lloyd, you find yourself just getting completely battered by these things. All of you have to stop where you're at as the rocks begin to fall. Someone give me a test like this, as if you stay where you're at as all these rocks fall, as the sort of the ridge of this mountain still starts to shake. Like, if you stay where you're at, if you do nothing, like, you're going to quickly find yourselves buried beneath, thousands of these rocks coming from whatever the heck is shaking up above on the peak.
All right, then. Well, here's my thought.
Hey, I have a worse one.
Oh.
And I'm faster. I'm going to punch the rocks out of the way.
Okay, just okay.
I'm just going to punch them out of the way as they come down.
Okay. So as they're landing, you just knock this way and that way. Sure. Okay. Yeah, put together a poll for me.
See, Jeremy, I can out-dumb you sometimes, too.
That's saying something.
Challenge accepted.
You think you can beat punch rocks that are avalanching down on us?
I mean, it's a challenge.
Yeah, it is a challenge. We'll see. Okay, obviously, strong as an ox, lift heavy loads, hurl, smash, mountaineer, I think are all quite fair.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have like unintentional breakage or something, or is that a
that's
weakness?
actually a weakness. I should do that. For some reason,
yeah,
it's
never
not
mind.
letting me
Never mind.
select.
Tag treacherous path.
Intentionally.
You're on a very treacherous path, so it's working against you. It's a long way down.
I shouldn't add a weakness.
Oh no, you can do whatever you like.
Okay, I'm going to add a weakness. Highlander, I would argue as well, because this is my territory technically. If I didn't get lost everywhere.
Yeah, I think so.
I started as a well-traveled character at some point in time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, from village to village.
Yeah. Okay, Highlander.
Morgan is just yelling to Kick, like, "Oi, is this something even bigger than you taking like giant steps or something? I mean, you've got heavy footfalls, but this puts you to shame."
My dice rolls are not cursed today.
So,
15.
You kind of push ahead as everyone starts to huddle, and you just start smacking them away left and right. And some of them like shatter into tiny little pieces and fall. Some of them, they just go flying over the side. And it's not like a full-on avalanche. It's not a full-on rock slide, but definitely the way that you all seem when you were moving started to cascade all these tiny little pebbles and rocks and stuff down the slope. It's like a larger scale is stumbling down towards you. But as you hear dum, 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 and it kind of gets a little quieter and quieter. You can still kind of hear it. And then the rocks stop falling, and you see like Kick standing there, arms kind of like cut up and beaten up a little bit and dusty, as she was completely and utterly like just like punching them away and knocking them down like some crazy person. And you all are left here having not fallen off this ledge, and the rocks no longer falling down.
Okay, well, I don't like that sound that we heard before, but I think I've managed to out-endure them and punched away their attack. Anyway, everyone okay?
Let's all step behind her now.
I don't completely understand what just happened, but that was pretty cool.
I mean, I've punched some things in my day, but not just fallen rocks like that. And it's kind of impressive. But as much as I didn't like the sound, I have to admit I like the stopping of the sound even worse.
All right, so if we ever get a chance to do another relay and that little bastard's pushing his barrel, you punch his rock away next time, okay?
Oh, I think the mayor would get across with me again if I were to do that.
Oh, that's a good point.
Aye. I mean, if we can do it subtly, I think we can definitely, like, did you see how far Morgan had flown? I bet you I can throw him like that a bit.
You know, I hear you say that, but I gotta say, I don't think there was a thing that was subtle about what you just did.
Oi,
I just
Can we
punched
listen?
rocks. I don't understand what the dilemma is here.
Got to figure out why it stopped. And Morgan's kind of getting away from them, kind of like it's to the extent that she can like scooch a little bit away and then try to listen.
Okay. You kind of faintly hear dum, 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 but it's quieter. Like it's further away from you.
And the other two were talking to each other. Lloyd, I still hear whatever it is, but it's quieter. So either if it was something big, it's taken to tiptoe, or it's farther away.
Right, a large creature roaming the mountains.
Maybe I don't. It sounded like footfalls, did it not?
It certainly did, but it's faint now.
Yeah. Do you think maybe it's dangerous past, or do you think it's like lurking in wait for us?
If we hear the steps again, we know to look out for rocks. Best we can do is continue.
All right, just keep moving us forward, I suppose.
Okay. So you all continue to push forward. The terrain is not particularly easy. You find yourselves having to do a lot of climbing, like you're literally just pulling yourselves up and over. You don't have a ton of climbing gear on you. You didn't necessarily prepare to climb a mountain. And so a lot of this you're just kind of doing with bare hands and just will. I need everyone to go ahead and make a mitigation roll just for the difficulty of this hike that you're on. So anything that might mitigate, so things like strength, endurance, agility, anything physical that might help you in the act of climbing a very difficult path.
That's interesting. Could I make an argument?
Wounded would be a negative.
Yeah, I think wounded would be negative. Wounded would probably have been negative for your roll, but you rolled 15.
I did forget that one.
Yeah, but you were 15, so you were fine. Yeah.
Sorry, Melissa.
All right, Melissa, you can start us off.
The most I could make an argument for is Tavern Brawler.
Okay.
I've burned my stores of rope. I've burned my sea legs and balance. I've burned my drunken master brawling. So I've got Tavern Brawler.
Okay. Because it gives you can withstand pain or something like that, maybe? Is that what we're saying? Okay.
Yep.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm not
ahead.
quite punching rocks out of the air, but at least these fists have seen some, hard surfaces.
Go for it. Yeah, that's fine.
And then I have a -1 because I am still enfeebled one.
You still have that enfeebled
it's a straight
one.
roll.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Treacherous Path, though, will be a -1. You have one tap.
Yo. That's a 2. No, 3.
You rolled Snake Eyes?
No, sorry, 3. Just bad math.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So you find yourself. It's not a snake eye, so you're okay. You find yourself like constantly slowing everyone down, meaning like you are regularly like falling a little bit behind to the point where everybody else, even Poe, has to like turn around and kind of look for you and like, Morgan, what? Oh God! And like he'll look down, or one of them will look down, and you'll be far back, and like everyone has to kind of wait as she kind of catches up. And what that means is that you like look out the sky, you see the clouds kind of moving, the day is passing much more quickly. If you guys didn't realize, there is essentially a clock. So essentially time has passed. That is your consequence for this.
It certainly appears that I am taking some fatigue from this journey.
Snaggletooth, how do you want to sort of withstand this hike?
So I know what I would use for myself, but I would ask a follow-up question. So for myself, I would propose Country Strong and Holds and Grapples, because that means I've got a good strong grip. Potentially Resilient for just kind of like resisting exhaustion.
Mm-hmm.
If it is a time-based thing, I don't know if I could try to argue for help those in need or coordinated efforts to maybe lend a hand to yank somebody up if they do start straggling, or if I should keep this to just rolling for myself.
This is just everyone's rolling the same, so they're just all rolling to kind of mitigate the sort of the terrain, the difficult hike.
those are the three that I can think of offhand. Maybe being all fired up to try and get through this, like for kind of like that
Sure.
urge
Yeah, I'm okay
to go. But it's a -1 for the treacherous path, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that'll take me back down to a 3.
Okay.
And that will kind of suck, but it's still okay. It's a 4 plus a 3 is a 7.
Okay.
Hey.
7's not so bad. Yeah, I mean, and maybe it's kind of, I guess let's give yourself like a winded 1 because you did succeed, and maybe it's like you're putting too much energy in at times. Like there are moments where like you could, while like doing this climb, this hike, where you can kind of conserve energy, but you find yourself being a little too fired up, a little too gung ho at times, and that means like you're burning a little bit more energy than you probably should, and you find yourself out of breath. And like as the higher you get up into the elevation of the mountain, you're definitely starting to feel that difficulty of breathing. So give yourself winded 1. And you're just kind of breathing a little heavier than you want to.
Okay.
Snaggle, you've got this. Just keep going. One foot in front of the other. She says from behind because she's so far behind.
No one can hear you. You're 2 mountains over.
You just like wave in your general direction at the sound of it. Almost slip.
Okay. Lloyd, how about you?
I've got acrobatic agility, and then on top of that, empowered 3.
Okay. You're in your damn magical buff. Okay, yeah, I'll take that. -1
Sweet.
for the thingamajig, for the path.
All right, so 3 power total. I got a 9 mixed it.
Okay,
Nice.
still pretty good, similar to Snaggletooth. I'll just say, like, you definitely feel, you feel as though like whatever it is that's coursing through your veins, it's been coursing through you, continues to push and push and push in ways that maybe you're having a little bit more difficulty judging just how much you can take. Like, and give yourself like thirsty 1. Like you're just maybe ignoring some of the cues that your body's giving you, and you're just not like partaking in water enough or something like that. And then Kick. How about you? How are you?
So I had hardy, Highlander, Mountaineer, and strong as an ox, but -3 for wounded and -1 for the treacherous path. So I was rolling straight, and I rolled a 2 and a 3.
Oh dear. So that's a straight up fail, huh?
Yes.
Okay. Somewhere along the way, you're not necessarily sure exactly where, and it isn't until all of you kind of sit to like take a breath that you realize that you have you've forgotten something or you've lost something. So I'll give you, see, what do you have on you, like tag wise, that is like
Items?
a piece of, yeah, item wise, what do you have on you still?
I was carrying the old alphabet, and I have my short sword, and that is it.
Okay. I'll let you make a choice, but you're going to scratch one of those. One of those apparently fell out of your pack. Maybe it was during the rock slide. Maybe it was at some point when you were climbing a mountain, one of these boulders. But one of those appears to no longer be in your pack.
We've got Poe. He's alive and can read.
That's true.
You know.
You can? Yeah.
It'll be the old alphabet that I'll be getting rid
Okay.
of.
So somewhere along the way, a tear maybe came up in your pack. And when you sit down to take a breather and like rest for a little bit for the day, you realize your pack feels much lighter than before. And you look inside, and that translation text that you had put together, or that Auntie Eldrin had helped you with, is now missing. So somewhere along the way, either you forgot it or it fell out or whatever it might be. Okay. So when you all sit down somewhere very high up, much higher up than when you first started, and you look out, and it's like a breathtaking view of your home. Like you look eastward and northward and southward, and you see almost the entirety of your home spreads out before you. All the hills, the forests, the little rivers coursing out and away from the lake in the middle of it. You can see Isfig far, far off, and how like the fjord kind of weaves out to the ocean somewhere. and it is a beautiful and bright day. And there's just this moment of just seeing like birds in their various flocks just start sort of flying overhead. And none of you have probably ever been quite this high. Maybe Kick might have, but not from this vantage point where you can just see everything. And as you're resting, as you're, eating, drinking, you hear again, doom, doom, doom. At this point, though, you're not in a position like where you found this expansive cliff where anything is tumbling down on you. Certainly the peak continues to go up higher, but nothing is like falling down on you. But once more, you feel like the actual mountain itself, the ridge that you're on, continue to shake, and doom, doom, doom. And it's somewhere above you. And there are moments where you can notice like rocks sliding down here and there, but you don't see a pattern. It doesn't look like any of them are intentionally coming your way. But it does look in terms like it's continuing to like move northward. Like the rock starts sliding at like one ridge to the south, and then you just kind of trace it and trace it and trace it as if something is moving above you. And that's when you see it. When you see like between these tall boulders, like that it's up the next ridge, you see something just massive just move between them. You catch it for like a tiniest glimpse, and the movement seems to coincide with the doom, doom, doom. And you're pretty sure there's something quite enormous somewhere above you, maybe 100 feet or so.
Morgan's gonna like kind of just poke Kick. Oi! What is that? We're in your area up here. Which grows that big?
I ain't nothing that big, but us up here normally. I ain't seen anything bigger than
Look,
my
right
elder.
there.
Aye, that's unnatural. I don't like it. Let's go the other way.
But that's the direction that we're going.
No, aye, that's unfortunate.
Has it noticed us?
Here's the thing, like, do you notice every, beetle or ant around your house? Probably not. So, as long as we don't do nothing to really go out of our way to attract unwanted attention, we'll just stay sure-footed, and it probably don't care about us no-how.
Maybe a bit optimistic, I think, but we'll see, I suppose, if we have to go that way.
The hairless beagle with the slightly rotten tooth gives you a thumbs up.
I appreciate the positivity, but it's bad enough. I feel like 10 times today I've almost lost my life trying to climb up these rocks. I don't... It's quite the vista up here to see everything, but I really do prefer the view from the water's edge and in.
That's true, but I'd sure rather walk than keep on climbing. I'm going to tell you what.
We've got to get there. We've got to do this thing, but my word, like I can barely breathe up here.
Yeah, I hear you.
And then you start to hear again from the south, and then moving past you on this like upper ridge about 100 feet above you, and you can see it continuing moving northward in the direction you're going, and you see some rocks and stuff tumble. Again, nothing endangering you considering where you've found this cliff, but you hear again, dum, dum, dum. And then it's like a second thing now has kind of passed on that same sort of ridge line above. And then you see once more again between those two little boulders, you see another thing. It almost looks like the mountain itself is moving between them, and then it disappears from view for a sec.
Got to get a better view of this.
I don't know that we should get a better view. I think maybe we should try to be like Lloyd over there and be a bit sneakier. And pretend like that thing's our uncle's candle shop. And he needs help doing work.
Morgan wants to
You're gonna go
see
look?
what this thing is. Yes. So Morgan wants to try to get at a different vantage point to try to figure out what this thing is that we're potentially avoiding.
You could
give you a piggyback ride, then you'd be like 2 whole feet higher.
Yeah.
You could go, so like you guys are kind of at the edge of this cliff overlooking the valley to the east. Like you could kind of push further against the mountain and go to the opposite side away from the ledge, and like where the slope is, where you see some of the rocks kind of tumbling down, and you can kind of just get like underneath it and maybe do a little quick peer up.
Yeah, I would like to start with that for sure.
Okay. You move up and you look, and again, it looks almost like the mountain itself is moving. Doom, 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 kind of getting quieter. But then you hear it behind you to the south. Boom, boom, boom. And when you turn around and look, you can't see what's out in front of you, but you can see what now is like on the ridge behind you as you have this vantage point. And you see what effectively looks like something that's about 20 feet tall or so. And it has these large arms that almost look like stone and rock themselves. These these big old legs kind of taking these large strides. It is some gigantic creature made of stone and rock. And you can see the one that you're looking at has something like kind of maybe like a giant club or a sack. You can't really tell, like strung across its back. It's wearing clothes and it's just moving. Doom, doom, doom. Each step along the way. And that seems to be what's kind of shaking the mountain, each step it takes. And you see like behind it, there's like 2 more that are coming up, like maybe within about, 50 feet of it. Like there's a line of these large giants, these rock giants moving along. And you're pretty sure there's at least 2 more that kind of went northward past you already.
Morgan is just very wide-eyed as she's looking at this. And then she's going to kind of go back to where the group is and, kind of do the whisper yelling thing and just say like, they're all made of stone and they're moving around and there's a whole line of them and they've got arms and legs and they're walking around and got things on their back.
You think this is it then? Stoneham, a village of these giants.
Oh.
Why?
Well, that could make sense, I suppose. Poe? Is this what we've been looking for?
What's that? No.
And he's like, again, he's had his every chance he's had to look at this book he has, and he's just kind of reading through it. And he looks up at you. What?
Giants? Nope. No. The Tornok, they were bigger. Yes, they were maybe 8 feet tall, something, I think. But no. They weren't giants. I wouldn't say that. No.
Well, they're walking around out there right now, and they're made of stone and got arms and legs like you and me, and that implements on their back and whatnot. Is that where we're?
Don't be ridiculous. You sound absurd, Morgan. Oh goodness!
As he gets up.
Yeah, she kind of dragged him over and pointed. See,
I mean,
oh my God, that's a giant.
That's what I just said.
Reason, if the way people have survived this thing before is to put themselves in the ember, right, go into the earth and whatnot. If those things are made of earth, maybe that's kind of maybe they're returning. Like they're going to sleep in the earth the same way the elves are doing their own hibernation sort of thing.
But what do we do then? Do we avoid him like we've been talking about, or do we just go on up and introduce ourselves?
I say let's not invite difficulty. We don't need to, but if we do, we just be all polite and say, "Hey, best travels to you." And
if there's anyone who's going to do talking for us, it's certainly going to be you.
We might need to put a shirt on you first before we try to put you in any sort of social situation. You're a bit naked right now.
Well, I'm just wearing my birthday suit, that's all.
Aye, you could call it that.
It's okay, I've got burns covering most everything.
So,
All right, well, Poe, where did you see the last location? Or if we look around, do we see like
Yeah,
a
because a
sense
few
of
of you.
direction we're going in?
Yeah, you guys have to go north and up, so you still
So
have to go a
through
little
that
further up
area
and
with
a little
the-
further north.
Okay, through
Yeah.
the giants. Okay.
You are
They
definitely going
solidly
in a
in our
similar
path.
direction. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna try to sneak it then. Try to be quiet. Try to get past him without being noticed, and then if we
I-
have to, then we
Put
see
Snaggletooth out front and let him
courtesy
try to
can
be
do.
polite at them. Yes, I agree.
Okay.
Sneaking we go. Maybe if they make noise when they walk, then it's sort of like if you're trying to sneak and there's like lightning outside and thunder, and then you like match your steps to the thunder. It's kind of the same thing.
Well, again, like I said, how often do you hear the ants or the mice roaming around your house? You don't.
Not unless you're on guard duty, and then it's your job to be looking, and then well, you might notice wee bit faster.
Aye.
Well, that sounds way more sensible a response than I was hoping for.
You're right.
well-
You're going to sneak us right past. I've got faith in you, friend.
Wait, no, I was doing the talking. If we need to.
Lloyd, you've got the notice and the patterns and whatnot. You can make sure we walk all stealthy like, yes?
Of course, I'll get us through.
Every time anything stealth or perception comes up, it's always Lloyd. You're
Pretty
getting
much.
volunteered.
Yeah. Yeah.
We know where our strengths lie.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Okay, so Lloyd, if you want to try to find a path forward, northward, upward, that keeps you without being potentially seen by any creatures traveling above you, you certainly can try. Two things will be working against you, one of which is still the treacherous path, so it'll be -1. And then these creatures do have a status right now that will be an additional -2. So that will be -3 to your roll to be able to.
They are on guard duty.
Okay.
It's more elevation. They're looking down at you and quite large.
How rude.
Does my thirsty affect me at all?
Not with this. I don't think this
Okay.
is necessarily going to play in. And besides, it's your worst status, so I think the -2 is fine.
So I'll do learning the environment, point out peculiarities, and dodging harm.
Okay. Absolutely.
So that'll make it just a flat roll, I believe.
Flat roll, yeah. You got this.
I'll burn one of them.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Like point out peculiarities.
Okay.
Oh dear.
Excellent. So that's going to be a +2 total
dear.
then at the end. All right. Let's just make this quick. Doesn't have to be. Doesn't have to be direct.
Oh goodness.
You either do.
Nervous now.
Oh dear.
Wait a second. I think it's
Okay.
like total
I think
didn't
it's
add
10.
up on Foundry. What'd I get?
So it looked like a 6 and a 1 to me.
9.
Is that what? Which +2 would be a 9.
Oh yeah, I
So
rolled
that's-
9
I think
twice.
I think-
Sweet.
Yeah.
Makes it.
Yeah, so I think that was right. Okay. Okay, so that's a success with consequence. Okay, so you are able to travel for a not insignificant amount of time, continuing to move northward, upward, northward, upward, northward, upward, weaving sometimes here and there in places that you didn't think possible, trying to avoid looking down, and then trying to avoid looking up as the whole time you're moving, like parallel to you, sometimes faster than you, sometimes slower to you, is that same kind of cadence. And you periodically get clear view of them. And there's maybe a dozen of them kind of moving across the sort of almost the peaks, the summits, the highest slopes of some of these mountains. And it's like a whole clan of these like rock giants of some kind, each 20 feet tall, give or take, sometimes stopping to look and kind of peer out. And then you can see a few times they turn as if they're speaking to one another. You can kind of hear the sounds almost like thunder coming down but you can't discern the voice or the language, of course. But they definitely seem to be communicating. They don't seem to be on guard duty in the sense they're not like looking for anything, but many of them are carrying things. Like you can see these crude, like these large crude like tools or items like strapped in some way to their backs. And you can see one or two of them are like carrying some large, like not device, but you can see like these large like tree limbs or tree trunks like held to one side and then things hanging down. It's almost as if they're just traversing and moving along like some kind of nomadic tribe of rock giants. And you're able to, again, elude sight of them. You're so small and you're sticking to the shadows. But as consequence, you, in doing so, eventually hit kind of a dead end, Lloyd, and you find yourself staring at a sheer cliff. It goes straight up. It's almost vertical. And you can see above is like maybe about 50 feet or so. There is probably the height that you have to get. And you either have to somehow try to traverse this essentially sheer vertical wall, or you have to backtrack a ways to find a different path forward. But that is the consequence. Just a new challenge, essentially, that you have to now face. And so that's what you guys now see standing kind of in the shadows of this cliff. It's getting later in the day. You still hear the sounds of this intermittent movement of these nomadic rock giants. And there is a giant cliff in front of you that is kind of, preventing you from making further progress.
All right, they've got us through. I don't think they've seen us. But now you can see there's a giant wall.
It's a bit hard to miss.
Right in front of us.
So Key can just punch it, right?
And she looks down at Snaggletooth. I had a bit of a different idea, actually.
Well,
I know it's coming.
Yeah, Jeremy. Yeah.
I'm going to lead my coordinated effort tag because I know it's coming.
But first, Morgan, do you happen to have a bit of rope still? Was that you that had it before?
I used to have some, but I have my bag is like empty at this point. There's like nothing left.
Yeah,
I don't have any items left at this point.
Had you gone to Aberlin, you probably could have restocked those tags.
Yeah, that would have been a thing that could definitely have happened at Aberlin.
Lloyd, did you happen to pick up any rope before you left?
No, not specifically.
Okay.
Poe,
Okay, so I've got
you've
a really
been hanging out here. Did you make yourself some rope while you've been hanging out here waiting for us in the last 5 days?
What's that? Oh,
Did you weave any rope?
No. Well, I have this.
And he like undoes the cord around his waist that he keeps his robe tight around his belly.
I have this.
But it's maybe like 6 feet.
I think it's doing better work around your waist there. Thank you, though.
And his robe just like gusts in the wind.
Right.
Oh, yes,
Do you happen to have pants on underneath the robe?
No. Why would I have pants on? I'm wearing a robe.
That's a good question.
That's just kind
now,
of strange.
Here's the real tricky
Eye
question.
for fashion.
If we all got ourselves good and naked and tied our clothes one end to the other.
You and I, Jeremy, are on the same path today. I was going to
right.
steal his robes and his rope.
We're going to reach the finish line stark and naked, but we'll reach it.
Doesn't really add up. 5 of us added up together don't reach the top, so I don't think our clothes would.
But a nice robe like what Poe is wearing, if we rip it up and make it into a rope, he's got 6 feet already around his waist. You get another...
You're not taking my rope, no.
I was thinking... Sorry, you said it was 50 feet?
Mm-hmm.
About 50 feet, yeah.
Oh, okay. I like what you were thinking there, though, Lloyd, if we're stacking on top of each other, but can't get there either.
Jeff, the tools, you said that the stone giants had been carrying logs and then other tools. Were anything like a chain or rope or any of that, or is it all?
You guys never really got really close to discern it, but yeah, there's definitely a lot of various tools and equipment they seem to be carrying with them. So there could be something in there. Yeah.
We might need to find what the stone giants were collecting their equipment from and see what they have there. If we have to go back far enough, we might as well walk around. But if we can find something useful, then I can throw Snaggletooth at the top of that. Hopefully, he won't fall back down and splatter. But he's fallen through a cliff before, from my understanding.
It's okay. It was only a few broken ribs. I'll bounce back.
Don't want to go repeating that again, but my friend, you were quite the resourceful one, and if I am a fisherwoman, could we not perhaps? Are there any tops of trees or anything that we could fashion ourselves a bit of a rope if we kind of take some time to kind of stay here and make this where we are for a bit of a rest, and then at daybreak, perhaps we would have a bit of rope to use to help us?
There's not really trees, but there are definitely some like mountain shrubs and stuff. So you could potentially, like, you would do a roll, and if he succeeds, he finds what he needs. If he doesn't, then there's not what he needs.
If we wanted to kind of stay here a bit and try to fashion something together.
I'm willing to try it. I don't really know how far we got to move around to get around this thing, but
it might be good to get both done at the same time and just to have contingency plans here for that. If you can work on creating that, Lloyd and I, maybe we can go and sneak around and take a look at what those stone giants had.
I mean, you're going to get even closer to them. Like, close enough that you can take something they might have dropped.
Definitely, it will be we that get close to them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, so I don't think I've described this. Like, they're above you and moving, like, in parallel to you. So, like, they're up the cliff. So
they're up the 50 feet. Okay.
Yeah, so, like, they're up there. Like, there's, like, this whole, like, other, uppermost ridge. So, like, you guys have been avoiding them. So, they're up there, not even facing this cliff problem. Like, because they went higher up the mountain and you guys stayed low.
Or we just double back.
I'll try and fashion a crude rope of sorts. I don't mind trying. We got some shrubs and these are some thick roots. I mean, they gotta be tough to dig themselves into the rocks like that.
I can help you. I'm a fisherwoman. I've made plenty of net and rope in my time.
I mean, I'm happy to try.
Let's try to make ourselves something to help us climb.
Sure. Yeah, Go ahead, Snaggletooth. So put together a pool. Obviously, your resourceful tag is going to... add in here.
Help those in need.
Okay.
And then plus really one for me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys, if you all do this together, if you think you have a tag that you can contribute to it, you can also do that too.
Not for crafting in this way. I can repair metalwork and I can craft a weapon.
Throw an artisan or a young apprentice.
Yeah, I think artisan could probably apply here.
I mean, that gets me to what, 4? So 4 is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hell yeah, it is, because that's an 11 on the dice, 15.
Oh my gosh.
Very nice. Did you have any like negative statuses that we should have paid attention to? Sure.
Maybe exhausted. Or
yeah, exhausted probably would be.
Yeah, so that'll take it back down to 14, but still pretty solid.
That's still plenty. Okay, yeah. It takes it doesn't take too long actually, as you do find this like kind of gnarly old mountain shrub and like a stretch of them. You just have to go down a little ways. It's a little bit treacherous, but together you're able to kind of like lower a person carefully, and then you find yourself just ripping up these these very sturdy mountain shrubs, but in doing so, you're pulling these long roots out from between where it's dug down into the earth between some of these larger stretches of stone. And yeah, you kind of cobble it up together, kind of weave, like maybe with Lloyd's help, kind of weave a few of those strands together. And it takes maybe an hour or so, but you find yourself with like this long, kind of dirty and a little bit thorn-filled rope of some kind. So you can add that to your backpack as a tag.
All right.
Nice.
I'll tell you what, whole Mother Nature knows how to engineer when she needs to.
It's beautifully made.
Fine work, all. Kick's just standing off doing the supervising thing. The three of us are kind of working together.
All right. So, who's going to climb up there and place the rope?
This one's the acrobatic one, and Morgan kind of nods her head toward Lloyd.
A 50-foot climb.
He says while leaving himself completely exposed and unaware of what Keek is doing behind him.
Aye, Snaggletooth, you ready for a little bit of a piggyback in a way? It's called a fastball special.
I mean, I could give you a piggyback if you want to see about 2 feet higher.
She picks up Snaggletooth. I don't think me seeing 2 feet higher is going to be much difference. This is my normally eye line up here. Now, you got the rope tightly in your grip here.
I do. And his skin is kind of like that. Like there's a couple sections it's almost like Sharpay skin where it's like gone a little bit loose and it's greasy, but you can get a good hold of it in your hands.
I think we need to get you into a bath once we're done here. And I would like to try to throw Snaggletooth up 50 feet of a sheer cliff to the very top.
I'll coordinate with your effort.
Yes, I appreciate.
Your wounded would come into play.
Wounded would come into play. I am gonna say twins with Snaggletooth.
Sure.
Yes.
I guess I would burn that one for one, right?
Yeah,
because
that's
it's a separate.
That's
like
your
a
personal
teamwork tag.
exactly.
Yeah, so it's like a one-time thing. Okay, cool. So I'll use that one. I'm going to hurl something heavy. I will burn that one. Otherwise, strong as an ox. Lift heavy loads. Smash it loudly.
Smash it loudly.
No. All right, not that one.
I mean, if you're looking to smash Snaggletooth,
like if you just want to bash him against the wall, that's fine. That would apply, no doubt.
Overreaching. That's. I think. Hardy that's more constitution.
Hardy can work.
Hardy
I'm okay with
work?
Hardy.
Okay, I'll take Hardy.
Yeah, there's going to be other stuff working against you, just to your wound, though. It is a 50-foot sheer vertical cliff, so there's going to be I'm going to say -2 on this 2 tags, as it is 50 feet, and then it is sheer. So it's like there's not a whole lot of handholds and footholds in case something goes wrong.
Yeah.
So we have like a -5 in total working against you, plus whatever it is that you have. Don't worry.
It was +5
the
or 6?
consequence is going to be a beaver goes tumbling down the mountain. Forever. Endeavor.
Okay.
Endeavor.
What I'm missing
Some say it's still tumbling today.
there's
oh, no.
That's how he would have wanted to go. Let's be honest.
And then sorry, it was -3 for the cliff.
It's -3
total.
for your wound.
Yes.
I'm gonna say 1 for the sheer nature of it, and 1 for the height of 50 feet.
It's -2. Okay. Okay, so that would leave me with a +2, all things considered.
Okay.
Burning stuff.
There's a
burning
pretty solid
burning
chance
stuff.
there.
Okay. How about a 10?
Nailed it. Okay,
Yay.
10 right on the dot. That's a full success.
What?
And so you reach back.
And we see
I'll use my 2 power to give Snaggletooth the flying tag.
So for a brief few seconds, Snaggletooth, you have the flying tag as you're hurtling up, and you land like right over top of the cliff. You all just kind of lose sight of him as like there's the perfect parabolic arc just kind of lands him up top, and Snaggletooth, you on a small flat expanse as a ledge that isn't particularly deep, and then you kind of tumble against the rock wall again, and you find yourself on like the highest most ridge of this mountain that is not like the actual summit of the mountain.
I think it worked.
Yeah, you're quite high.
That is unreal. What are you made of?
We can't hear you.
No, you can't. But you know who can hear you, Snaggletooth? Is you hear toom, toom. And then you look over and you see one of those large giants in the distance just look back in your direction and just sees this furless beaverkin. And it's just kind of staring at you. They're a little ways away, but they can see you very clearly. They don't throw anything at you. They don't stare at you, but they don't like shout at you or anything like that. But they stare at you like out of some sort of sense of curiosity, some weird, strange little thing just flying up, like the weirdest looking bird they've ever seen in their lives.
Hey, top of the morning to you. Hope you and your kin have safe travels.
Yeah, so like somewhere maybe 100 feet away, like their legs seem to just sort of, like their legs almost seem to anchor and connect. You can't even really see a difference between the slope of the rock and where their legs begin. And like you wave a hand and you see one of them like holds a giant like 4-fingered hand up in the sky as well, like in response.
That was so cool. Hey, they waved back at me. They're friendly.
He might be delusional now. I must have hit his head on his way up.
I'll do my best to like take my shovel I have and like if I can find a piece of earth I can shove my shovel down into, put that down in, tie an end of the rope onto it on top of me having a hand on it.
Yeah.
And start lowering it down.
Okay. And I'll say with that, you have a rope. You've done a lot of work with this between the throw, between the searching. I think the rest of you can climb up. It's a little slow. It kind of maybe digs at your hands a little bit here and there because it's not particularly, it's not like your normal sort of rope. Every now and then a thorn cuts in. But the rest of you, the three of you and Poe, after several minutes, maybe a half an hour, find yourselves at the top. You see this ridge spread out in front of you, kind of start weaving northward. And then you see there's like this group of like 4 giants that just kind of amassed themselves on top of like the next peak, kind of looking down as you all climb up as if they have like they're just the strangest thing. Like they're just watching nature unfold in front of them. But Snaggletooth is up here. You are up here. You guys have made it. What do you want to do?
Kick, that was amazing. I've got to say it. I wasn't sure that was going to work, but did it quite well.
There wasn't a non-zero possibility that he ended up flat on the rock and then smushed all the way down.
Don't want to think about that. Snaggle, have they been watching you the whole time since you've been up here?
Oh, everything's fine. They're friendly.
It's unnatural. I don't know if I like this.
Let's
keep moving.
Maybe your analogy was right. It's a bit like, sometimes maybe if there's a line of ants outside, you just don't do anything about them. You see them and you watch them doing their thing, but you don't interfere. Do we want to move along, though? Maybe a bit out of their way?
I think we want to still keep our distance, but yeah, I keep moving.
Alrighty. Northward we go then.
So you keep your distance, you keep pushing north, you kind of stay away from them, and at one point you kind of cross underneath them, maybe about 20, 30 feet underneath them, and like 4 of them are just kind of staring down and watching the 5 of you just pass by, not saying anything. And then they don't interrupt you, they don't stop you, they don't attack you, but they seem very, very surprised to see creatures of your size and ilk up here. It's very cold up here too, by the way. You're starting to feel the coolness. The sun is starting to go down on the other side of the mountain. So it's evening time. This has taken all day effectively. And you kind of push past them and they just let you go. Every now and then you hear the sounds of the tom, tom, as if they're moving somewhere else. It becomes harder and harder to see exactly where they are as the light begins to fade, but you can hear them and you know that they're moving somewhere up here. And after a little bit of time, when the sun is fully down on the western side of these mountains and it's just darkness in front of you, you actually see a light glow begin to emerge, maybe about a quarter mile ahead, somewhere along the slope. You're at roughly the right height, but you just see this whole stretch of rock. It's got this almost like aquamarine-ish kind of glow to it, this very faint glow. And there's like a little bit of this almost ethereal like mist that seems to be moving through it at the same time. It's not hard for you all to close in on it. And when you do, you notice that there is inside this mountain wall, there is this rounded, and unnaturally so, this rounded bit of stone that seems to protrude out from the rock itself. And out in front of it, there are like maybe columns, maybe statues. It's hard to say, but they have long since weathered, have been broken and fallen over. And you see they're all kind of scattered about on the ground. And in the middle of that rounded wall, there is a very tall, maybe 15-foot tall kind of stone slab that you might think is some kind of door. And in the middle of it are all of these various like runes and carvings that seem to be passing through like this middle frieze of it. And everything's got this, again, this strange glow to it. You all are like maybe you're just like on the outskirts of it, like you're not quite there yet, just looking at it from afar, but everything's kind of glowing for a bit. What would you all like to do?
Morgan pokes Poe because he's had his head down looking at books for so much. And
what's this?
Look,
What?
we've look. It's where the light is. Look, it's all illuminated and whatnot. I think we've made it.
I think you're right. Yes. Yeah. Well, what are we waiting for then?
Oi, I'm gonna look at
Well,
the
I suppose. Do
statue.
you happen to know if we need to turn something with these columns, or if we need to just... There's a weird stone that's protruding over there that's a round one.
I have no idea. I've never been here before. I'm sure we'll
What's
find a
all
way
your
in.
book reading for?
Oh, for the machine in the inside. That we have some research, perhaps, on their various magical artifacts. You see, there's a whole process, attunement, and then application, and then yes, that's what I've been studying.
Well, you know what we could do in the meanwhile? All Auntie gave us that whole alphabet thing. Maybe we could see if anything lines up with this.
Oh, that's very good. My Turanok is quite rubbish. In fact, it's not one of my strong suits. I'm
no.
passable.
People, man.
I can ask
so
you
we
where the
did have a
library
problem with
is,
that.
or the bathroom.
I happened to have a hole in my bag after the avalanche of rocks earlier. I seem to have misplaced the Tornok alphabet at that time.
You did what?
I punched
Oh,
a bunch of rocks, it broke my bag, and apparently we lost the alphabet at some point, so you might as well study that a bit too.
I don't have a copy of it here. I'm in jest, of course. Yeah, of course I can read it. Of course I can. Mostly.
Oh,
It depends on the dialect. There is certain evidence to suggest that just like there are different languages that's all across our continent, the Turanok did not have a monolithic tongue of sorts. They had different variations. So hopefully it's a variation I know, and I won't cause some sort of strange security device to obliterate us with some sort of sorcery. That would be awful, wouldn't it?
Aye, it would be.
Quite.
If I were to say there might be an additional party who might be knowledgeable of runes and symbols from the past that could be talked to, would that be helpful?
You talking about that crow of yours?
No.
Auntie Eldrin is quite far away from here at this time, though.
Who is it that you speak of?
Are you talking about the other thing inside you?
No, absolutely not. No.
I'm just saying, it started talking to me last night, and like, if it's talking to me, that means we could ask questions.
No, that's a very bad thing to do. You talk to it, you normalize interaction with it, you let it get in and weave its way into your mind, and you start to think of it as a guest, as opposed to a villain, as opposed to your enemy. No.
I mean, I hear you, but if it's the difference between y'all getting in there and doing what needs doing versus...
We'll find a way in.
Why don't we try it first?
We haven't even looked yet. We're still on the ridge just bantering about.
I agree and I understand. I'm just putting it out there. I'm sorry.
Last resort.
What's your demon's name?
Lloyd, did you not just hear
Bo? I kept trying to ask it. I did talk to it some last night. I was trying to be polite because I was trying to see like what it was wanting to do, and maybe if I could understand it better, then maybe there doesn't have to be such cross purposes and whatnot. But it was real evasive on giving me a name.
Of course, it's not going to give you a name. If you knew its name, then you would have power over it. Do you know anything at all about demonology?
No, we don't.
No.
Not at all.
Why would we know that?
Yeah.
No.
Yes, it's a fair point, yeah. If we survive
I'm going to
this,
look at the statues over here while you guys look at the letters.
I am going to go push the bulbous end of the cave entrance, I suppose. See if I can't do it.
She said bulbous.
Not to push the things until we've read the things first. I just was looking.
We're playing to our strengths now, and mine is the pushing the big bulbous thing at the end over there.
Did no one ever
Just for
tell you
Jeremy.
look with your eyes and not with your hands?
No. That goes against our culture and tradition.
Morgan is going to look with her eyes at the statues.
Okay, yeah.
Around the front.
Yeah, if you look at these things, they look to have been on some kind of pedestals that have long since crumbled, eroded. You can see most of them have been eroded down to almost like rock. It's just you wouldn't necessarily notice it if it wasn't for this structure standing next to it. It probably wouldn't even make you pause, give you pause of any kind, except for the fact that, like, when you look closely, you can certainly see like suggestions of some sort of artistry, right? There's odd angles and formations here. There's carvings, maybe not unlike that long stone inside of your village. Like, you can even see like the stone itself, the darkness of the stone. It's the same material. It's the same kind of dark granite of some kind. And it's hard to make out exactly, Morgan, but you think that they were figures of some kind. Like, you've seen these shambling creatures inside of the Ghost Meadow and by Auntie Eldrin's that have this sort of hulking posture, and you've even seen some in the vision that you had. And in a vague and very worn way, you think you see some of those same shapes here. So you would think these are probably statues, maybe of Toranok, some of renown for some reason, that have fallen from weather and erosion over time.
I think these were them Toranok those of us that saw visions. I think these are them. Perhaps their version of a statue of a mayor or whatnot.
Well, okay, so if I remember correctly, it seems like most of y'all, at least those of us that got that burn on us, we didn't respond kindly to that, but Lloyd, it seemed to just charge you right up. And like, the one feller said that these people were big on like instilling essences of themselves into something, and then sharing essences. You know, now I know it's a big thing to ask, but like, maybe you could just kind of go up there and like, get hands on with it.
You're right, I did have an
Maybe
affinity
it'll-
to it. I'll do some poking around. And I'll go up to, so there's like writing around the glowing
Yeah, so
area.
there's that kind of like rounded wall that comes out from the mountain that lets you know that this is certainly like a constructed portion, like this kind of rounded wall. And then in the center of it at the start, there's this large, like 15-foot tall, you presume a door. And then in the center of it, there's like a thick frieze of these carvings, these letterings, these kind of like the alphabet, the symbols that you've seen before here and there. Yeah,
Trying to
so that's what you
decipher those symbols with Poe, if needed.
Yeah, he'll waddle over and see here and that. Just
give me a roll. You can take Poe, obviously. You cannot take, unfortunately, the Turanok alphabet anymore, but you can take Poe, and you can use Empowered in this case, actually.
Nice.
That's very great.
Ooh.
I've got passion for the truth. Or curious.
Why not both?
I think both. Yeah.
Oh, both? Okay.
Both.
Sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a big roll here, man.
All
Do you have
right,
any
nothing working
negatives?
against me. Just the thirsty. I don't know if that counts.
I don't think Thirsty is going to count here.
Okay.
That'll count like
Five
if you have to
total.
run from something or whatever.
It's a low roll, but I still mixed it 9.
Oh.
okay.
So close.
Okay, so you can. So your consequence is, well, let me describe what happens, and then I'll kind of talk about your consequence. So as you and Poe are standing there, and like more, and I think Kick is nearby too, like maybe pushing a bit on the door, and the door is like not budging. Like you're trying to push it open, it's just not budging whatsoever. And then the two of them are talking. You see Poe like flipping through and like kind of translating this, and as he translates it, you all recognize what's being said. Like you recognize what he says out loud, like that same kind of sort of similar chant of the maker, the various symbols that you've seen on your Longstone, in town, on the whale, on the various obelisks that you've discovered. All of this stuff seems to be kind of written out a lot, like across this frieze in the middle of the door. And he's just like translating. It's not really giving any clues. But then Lloyd, when you step up and like you feel like this little tingling in your hand, and when you start to like run your hand over some of the symbols and kind of dust them off, you see your hand suddenly glow. And all of you watch as like this aquamarine mist starts to coalesce and swirl. And then like a conduit funnels through Lloyd and into the wall itself. And you see all of these sigils, these runes, these symbols that you've seen so many other times just suddenly glow. You see each of them are just now alight. And Kick, you're standing nearby and you hear something as you're trying to push. You just hear as if some kind of mechanism just shifted inside.
Oh, something's moving in here. I can hear it.
I can feel it. Something's happening.
Keep going. You're doing great.
And the consequence is that you can reduce empowered down to empowered 1.
Oh,
Yeah.
putting it to good use.
Oh, yeah. It's been very helpful.
Yeah, not a full scratch, but because you need to get a mixed hit. So it's not a full scratch, but I think reducing it sounds good to me. But yeah, you guys stand here. The mist suddenly disappears as it kind of funnels through it into the door itself. And all of these runes and sigils just light up.
Kick, can you push the door now?
I am trying, I guess. And she'll give it a good shove again.
And you give it a push, and this time it drags, and you feel it kind of push against the ground. And then at a certain point, you just kind of pull your hands back, and it continues to push inward, and then it slides open. Like you didn't, like this imperceptible seam down the middle wasn't even there, and it just slides open, and dust just comes out at you, and you see this dark, this sort of dark hall chamber up ahead. It smells stale, like it hasn't seen the light of day in a long time, like a tomb basically you're opening.
I think we're going to need a lantern at least, and probably some scarves to cover our face with. It is definitely some old smelling dust in there.
You've done it, though. This is amazing. We were able to climb all the way up here, and we were able to find it and be able to get on inside.
Aye, it does really help that it glows quite brightly.
And Morgan wants to look around and just see, like, we'd moved away from kind of those giants, and she's curious if all of this light and everything has kind of caught their attention.
You're standing, like, you kind of step back and away from where the door is opening, and you kind of look up on the ridges, and it definitely looks like it's very dark, by the way. It's nighttime, but there is the moon, there are some stars. And strangely enough, it actually looks like there's various like peaks or like these like stacks of stone, but they're moving. And so you think they're still kind of nearby, but they don't seem to be approaching you all.
Okay. Well, seems like it's just us about to venture on inside. After you, Lloyd, especially if you can make things glow in there and give us some light.
Oh, aye.
All right. Are you all ready?
Aye. Time to put the candles
sure.
to good use.
Oh,
Okay.
man. Do you guys remember back when moving a rock around in a wheelbarrow and chasing some goats was a big deal?
Aye, well, it still is. We won that. We've got bragging rights for another year.
Those things that we're seeing all the way up on the cliff, I mean, I couldn't believe my eyes saw those things and all of the things we're doing and seeing.
Oh.
Inside we go.
Aye. Nobody still has any of those belt lanterns that I made them at the beginning, do they? They all got smashed or given
Lloyd.
away.
I don't know if Lloyd still has that one.
Never got rid of it.
You got rid of one of them. If Snaggletooth gave you a second.
Yeah, Lloyd got rid of one, but I gave him mine.
Okay. So the question is, did Long add that to his character sheet, or did he forget?
I did not have it.
Aye. Because I had to remind him about the dagger a few times.
If it's not in your sheet, maybe that means that Lloyd left it in town.
Aye.
Maybe it
that's
still
fair.
exists. He just forgot to bring it with him.
All right, well, time for to put you in front, glow boy.
Am I really glowing?
Is he
Not
still
enough
glowing?
to see anything. No. It
darn.
was more like he was a conduit to sort of empower the opening. I mean, you can make a torch, like you have.
Yeah, I was
the
going to say,
rope
is there a bit
still
of wood
and various
around?
things. Yeah, you could make a torch. It's fine.
Well, I'll make a torch.
All right.
Got it.
Just tear off a piece of robe from Poe. His left cheek is now exposed.
I keep going after
Watch
his
out,
robes.
the devil dog might bite that off.
The devil dog. There's no such thing as a devil dog. That's absolutely ridiculous. Devils don't take the forms of dogs. Dogs are good. You have a lot to learn about devil taxonomy, demonology.
Well, there's
Either
also
way,
the
can you cover
devil
it?
vulture that was flying around and attacking Morgan, and apparently Snaggle as well.
Devil vulture.
Aye.
It's 10 times the size of a vulture and quite scary.
It
Never
ruptured
heard
out
of a
of a
devil
snake.
vulture. I have heard of flying snakes before. Yes, that I've heard of. Serpents with wings. Fiery
Yes,
appetites.
We saw the skin of it, and it was quite big, as if it had, like how snakes shed their skin, and that's what we saw, but it was quite big. Outside of Toralo.
Anything of its like has been seen for hundreds of years. Really? Thought those went extinct.
Attacked 2 of us, so if it was gone, it has made a triumphant and scary return.
Well, I'm glad we're having this conversation right now. Here on the precipice of everything we've been working towards.
We're having a conversation.
Non sequiturs, very useful.
Kik was taking some time to make a torch, so we're just passing the time in the dark until we get a lamp going.
It.
Yep. Looks like she's good to go.
We're good for life.
What's a sequator?
It's the middle of the hemisphere. It's like it's like you have a sphere, let's say, okay. And say, hey, Lloyd, come here. Let me use your head for a second. You see how his head is very ovular, sphere-like. If you were to draw a line around it right there, you could call that an equator. You see? Yes.
So what's
This
a
here would be the meridian.
non-sequator?
I'm going in the cave now, and the light's following me. So if you want to get in while it's still lit up, you better hurry.
Yep.
Why we're coming?
Of course.
Oh, okay.
This equator is okay.
So you guys push inside, and you see this kind of opening area. Doesn't have a whole lot to it. It almost seems for a moment like you've just entered in some kind of storage chamber. And then all of a sudden you take a couple steps forward and the light doesn't hit the walls anymore, because you're passing through this like narrow tunnel that like broadens into this room, and then it illuminates all of these different stone patterns. And then you take one step further, Kik, and no longer do you see the light just immediately illuminate the sides, because you are now in a massive chamber, and you see the light is like thrown quite far and reflecting off of slightly polished surfaces here and there that are kind of dusty and tarnished, but nonetheless are reflecting. You see these tall columns that seem to go up maybe 20 to 30 feet or so to a ceiling that you can kind of make out as you hold the lantern up, and you see some complex looking mosaic that is visible, but again tarnished beneath dust and time. And all around you, like there are, much like outside Morgan, there are these statues. These time, most of them seem to be intact atop of these pedestals, interspersed between some of these columns of these figures, these kind of like almost humpback, hulking figures that are kind of flanking this central walkway through this massive chamber. And this is the first time you've really kind of got a good look at one of them, because all the times that you encountered these figures, it was either in dreams in which certain things were occluded, and in other times, like in the meadow or by Auntie Eldrin's, when it was just some long decayed version of them. But what you see is a people that is, they're not elvish, but they definitely have features of kind of this sort of similar variety. Like their eyes themselves are quite large and seem to taper back into the sides of the face a bit. You can see like these ears that point up, but much larger and much more angular than the elves themselves. You see almost like a long chin that extends down, and as if covered by some kind of decorative robe. It's as if it's like part of how they dress, to sort of tuck their chins somewhere beneath this robe. And each of them are dressed not unlike your own, robes of various taperings, and you see these different fine etchings here and there that seems to suggest artistry to some of the cuffs. A few of them are holding like staves or books or orbs of some kind. Some of them are gesturing in particular ways. You don't notice like any weaponry though. You don't see any that suggests like swords or axes or anything like that. Everything seems more like erudite, arcane in some fashion, and many of them are intact. They certainly look bigger than what you recall seeing in the meadow and in your visions, as if these are like larger than life in some fashion. But they're all dressed in sort of a similar vibe. None of them have like a fully revealed face. All of them have like that, like a partially veiled covering, but their heads are sort of tall and narrow. Their arms are long and slender. And each of them, they have like a familiar or a similar sort of biology to elves in some fashion, but not quite. Almost like they're just a little bit different, maybe cousin to them or something of the sort. But this is what you see as you guys are slowly moving through this large, empty chamber. Like there's nothing moving in here. You hear no sounds of like rats scurrying. You don't hear like dripping. It's absolutely and utterly quiet. Anyone do anything? Anyone want a spotlight action as you're moving through? Yeah, go ahead, Kick.
Looking towards this walkway we're going in, or are the statues scattered around, or are they like looking in any particular direction?
Yeah, so you have like the chamber itself expands, right to the left and straight ahead. It's like a very large chamber that seems to be built into the mountain. And in between each of the columns that are clearly used to support the ceiling, that's where you see these statues. But they only seem to flank this central path through the chamber itself. Like if you start looking off to the right wing or to the left wing, you don't really see any more of those statues that seem to be, kind of looking directly at the center of this place.
Was there any sort of like, so they elves that had come to the farm and whatnot, they weren't like super friendly and whatnot, but did they do any sort of like, a lot of cultures have some sort of hand gesture, some sort of thing that you do as a social acknowledgement sort of thing, right? Do they have any sort of behavior of that nature? And if so, could I crudely mimic it?
The elves you're talking about?
Yeah. That's the best point of reference he has.
Yeah, sure. So you just like, it's just a wave basically.
Okay.
Your people have had encounters with the elves. It's not like you guys are constantly talking to one another, but you kind of hold a hand up, wave at the statues, and the statues don't wave back.
Right, well, they have not killed us on sight, so that's a good first step.
I don't believe they're real enough to kill us on sight. Snaggletooth.
Well, I don't understand a goddamn thing anymore, so I was just really concerned about that.
Aye, fair enough. Well, they're all looking this direction, so I guess we just keep going through the middle. Unless, Morgan, you had something to say?
Morgan actually has had very little to say. Like she's just sort of like mouth agape, sort of just taking in the impressiveness of, kind of all of this here. And I would say she was, outside kind of drawn to, kind of the statues that were there. So she's kind of like going up to kind of the one kind of closest to her, and just seeing if there's any like scratchings or writings or like a name at the bottom or something like that, kind of just taking it in kind of all of its splendor.
Yeah, you definitely notice that there's some writing. Some of their alphabet certainly appears here and there. Like sometimes it's like one of them like maybe holds a tome or a book or something like that, and you might see some sort of vague etchings in there. A few of them seem to have identifying marks of some kind on the pedestals. How you would pronounce such a thing, you're not probably entirely sure, but yeah, you can see things like that.
She's probably like kind of calling Poe over every time and like, is that the name of that one? Is there a book on that one?
No, I don't think. No, book on that one. No, not that one either. No. No, yes, I see that one too. Very, very good, Morgan. Very good. You're very thorough. Excellent.
Yeah, just
Wonderful.
taking in all the details of them.
Yes. Yes. I appreciate your curiosity. Remind you that there is a very vile group of people that are also searching for this place for an entirely different reason than we are. And every moment we linger, every moment we waste, we give them time to find it.
Well,
Yeah,
I think Kick is over there. I think she's wanting to go forward. We can follow.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
You guys move down the central chamber, and then you come to a wall. There's no archway. There's no opening. There's no path. It's just a wall. It's just like the same sort of semi-reflective, kind of glossy surface, slightly dusted over by time. But the torch does reflect off of it. It kind of helps with vision a bit because of the reflective surface. But it's like this central walkway with these beautiful looking statues just sort of led you directly to a wall.
Does it look like the walkway we're on continues under the wall, or does it cut off properly?
No, it cuts off properly. Yeah.
Okay. How long was that? Like a 50-foot room, or?
It was probably it's probably closer to like 150, 200 feet. It's a very large, long chamber.
Okay. Do we head back to the center and see if there's something about the middle range, or do we want to check the walls around this area?
Yeah. Let's say, why don't we just, run our hands across the wall, see if we feel anything that feel like grooves that match up with them fun things what Lloyd pointed out earlier.
Aye, Lloyd, why don't you make these one and see if there's anything that'll make you glow again on this wall?
Right. What are we looking for in here, Poe? Any idea?
It's a door, perhaps an archway where we're trying to find their it's like an orrery of sorts. To be honest, Lloyd, I always assumed I would know it if I saw it. We have no specific drawings of it, but we know that it was. They have devices, you see, metals and stone and glass, crystal, and they are able to imbue those pieces with some of the sorcery, and then they constructed things with them that could do the most marvelous things in the world. I have not seen any of those.
So, out on the outer part, wasn't that dark and then it lit up? But this is lit up. What if we is this maybe a spot where we make some shadow so that we prevent the light from getting onto certain spots? Maybe we feel around, see if we feel anything that matches, and we keep the light from hitting it?
I think you want me to move the torch away. That's pretty much the only light here, isn't it?
I mean, I don't know.
I agree. Maybe feeling around for things and seeing if something feels out of place. We should certainly do that.
Though I will say the door at the front, I couldn't even feel the seam when I was pushing on it. So they're pretty good at hiding things, but it's worth a try. I just want to give a warning that it's going to be well hidden if they want it hidden.
You all start putting your hands and feeling the wall for seams and such, and no, don't really seem to find anything of that sort. Play around with the light a bit. Doesn't it changes maybe the severity of the reflection, but that's to be expected.
The two statues on either side of this end part here, just these specific two at the end of it, are they different than the rest? Or are they the same again? Do they have writing?
One of them, you see the Turanok is kind of standing almost upright, and they have some kind of large staff that is resting against their shoulder and extending above their head, where you see some kind of like orb above, like some kind of crystalline orb. It does look like actual crystal too. It's not just a stone, so it looks like it's a facet there. Reflects a bit of your torchlight. The other one, when you look at it, it looks more like a person who is sort of studying, as they have in their sort of left arm extended. They have some kind of tome. There's no real writing on it that you can tell. It doesn't look like whoever created this etched anything in particular on the pages, but they have like this one extended, and you can see their other hand is resting against their chest as they're looking down at it with maybe a pensive look. Hard to say.
Hi, Poe. How upset would you be if I broke the arm off the statue holding the staff so we can take the staff off of it?
Why would you do that?
So we can get
Why
the
would
staff?
you break things?
It's stone. The staff is just stone. It's only the top, the crystal, the part that's different.
Last time I touched a crystal, I felt very badly, so I would rather keep it on the stone.
Why would you? Who comes to an ancient ruin filled with wonders of a past civilization
I thought we had to
and
get
proceeds to break everything?
somebody who broke your door 3 times over on the last day before you
I'm well
did
aware of
something.
that, yes, but that door was about 1.5 years old and I had it rebuilt 3 times, which is different than this place.
But sometimes you gotta be a little bit faster and you can't spend all your time looking at the beauty or
do you
whatever you like
really
to call it.
Do you really think that this ancient, wise, brilliant civilization would make it so that we would have to enter this place and to proceed? We would have to break one of the statues. Do you really think that is
not breaking
what would
nothing.
happen?
We've got to be respectful of it. We've just got to solve. There's a mystery here that we've got to figure out.
Okay. Lloyd, if I hold you up to the orb, do you think you can touch it and see if anything happens?
Well, of course, yes. I can look at it.
Okay, here you go. Get a close look at it. I'll pick Lloyd up and put him next to the orb.
Hoist him up, and you reach out. You touch with your hand,
Yeah, I'll make contact.
and you feel your hand get that tingling sensation again. And then that kind of aquamarine light just suddenly manifests inside of that crystal orb. And the orb is quite large. Remember, everything's just a little bit scaled, a little bit bigger than normal. And so it's really like kind of the size of maybe like your head almost. And so as you reach it, it just suddenly glows. And then as you're standing there, you see as there's like in this like kind of cloudy aquamarine glow inside of the crystal swirling around like a cloud. You notice like these very bright points begin to emerge at these different sections of the crystal. You realize it's not so much a ball as it is more like a dodecahedron of some kind with these tiny little angles. And each of those angles begin to glow, and then and you see these lines, these focused points of that color begin to fire out in all these different directions, and they start to bang off the reflective surfaces and walls here and there. And then you notice elsewhere in the room, these other lights begin to glow and glow and glow until the entire chamber is lit with this, whatever this is, almost dwarfing the torchlight that Kick has now. And when you look around, you realize all across back the way you came, there is no door. There is no hall that seems to go back to the entrance into Stoneham Hold. There is just a flat, semi-gloss wall where you have just passed, and you look over to the left, same thing, flat, semi-gloss wall. Over to the right, flat, semi-gloss wall, and you find yourselves in a chamber with no apparent doors, no apparent windows, no exits, no entrances, at least nothing that can be visible. And you hear and you feel like a rumbling in the ground, in the floor beneath you. And then suddenly the floor just kind of lifts very lightly. And it almost feels like the floor itself has like dislodged in some way from the ground, from the earth. And it's like floating in this airy style of, this feeling that almost like if you were to kind of step on it, it could tip but then you take a step or two and it doesn't. But it feels like you're walking like on a plank sitting atop water. And the light continues to reflect until finally those beams stop. The entire room is bright. Lloyd, you can reduce your empowered now to 0. And that's where we're going to go ahead and end for tonight. And we'll pick up on you guys being trapped inside of this large room.
Yay!
All right.
So cool.
There you go.
Uh-oh.
It'll be fine. Just break it.
Fine.
Just knock it over.
That's what I would do. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
That's
We
several
made
it.
weaknesses.
We climbed
well,
all the
there you
way
go.
up and we got
We are-
inside.
We are in Stoneham Hold. We are in the final major. This is it. This is like the big. We could finish next week. It's definitely possible.
Oh my
Next week
gosh.
could be our season finale. Depends how things go.
Mhm.
Maybe the week after, but definitely we're closing in on the end of season 1. I guess we're calling it.
Okay.
Okay. Let's do a couple closing plugs really fast here. What do we got next? Saturday, we should get some Call of Cthulhu. We are also closing in the end of that campaign, which we've been at for like a year and a half at this point, as we are also climbing up a mountain. Except this one is Mount Kailash in Tibet, and yeah, it's not going well. Well, it's kind of going okay, but kind of not. And then Monday, we've got We're in Danger. We're playing through Ninsuak Station, which is a Death in Space module that we're kind of riffing on for We're in Danger. And then Tuesday, what do we got going on there, Kipser?
We are going to do session 1 of the Wild Sea. We're going to have our sailors of the Verdant Sea take their first steps out on this canopy of waves.
Yay.
Fantastic.
Mhm.
Fantastic. We made our characters the other day,
Yes.
and yeah. So we've got. I'm not gonna spoil it.
No,
You're
no,
gonna have to
no.
watch. It's a lot of fun.
I'll
That's
try to edit our session 0 so we can put it up.
Yeah.
Maybe. on
Okay.
YouTube. Maybe.
So let's go. Let's raid somebody. I'm gonna raid Dork Tales. Have a great rest of your night. We'll see y'all later. Bye bye.
Good night.
Very well.
Bye.